Hi, welcome, Dave from Powerhoof. Thanks so
G'day.
much for joining us at the AdventureX online thingammy doodah. It's wonderful to have you here. Um, Dave, tell us who are Powerhoof and what is the Drifter?
I'm Dave Lloyd. Powerhoof is our little indie thing. It's kind of just the two of us, and then some contractors we get to help us out as well. And yeah, we're a little indie team from Melbourne, Australia. And the Drifters is a kind of our fast-paced take on a point-and-click adventure. So the traditional kind of point-and-click thing, but we're kind of trying to make it an edge-of-your-seat kind of thrill ride. So it feels like it's an interesting sort of way to try and push it. And it's about a drifter who's trying to solve their own murder. In short, yeah.
Yeah, that is right. That is the tagline. Yeah, I've played this demo and loved it. Like a lot of people, I'm really excited about this game. Um, and like you say, like the gameplay, it does feel super urgent, like an action movie. It's kind of a far cry from wandering around on what's the name of that island in Monkey Island, Mealy Island, where you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
I could do this forever. Um, so you've tried to do this, right? You're trying really hard to do this. Can you
Yeah,
tell us a bit about that?
yeah, it's kind of been one of the core pillars of what I've kind of been keeping in mind as I've been building it. We sort of started the idea, I guess, from a game jam, adventure jam, ages ago, and sort of making it with a couple of friends who weren't as big a point and click fans as I am, but were big fans of horror and thriller stuff. And so I was like, okay, I'll come up with a story which sort of brings those elements in and just like layers a lot of tension and drama all in just like one room game. We're just making it a week, and that ended up being really effective. It was the first time I'd done a non-comedy Monkey Island style game, so something that was serious and had drama and tension, all that stuff. But yeah, when I layered all those kind of like the music and the tension or stuff from the plot, all the plot stuff happening, people kind of got really kind of uh, nervous when they were playing. You could watch them play and they'd be like clicking frantically and stuff. And there was no timed events in the game. And it's a bit like the Drifter. There's nothing you have to do urgently. It's still a point and click where you can take your time and think about your next move. But just all that dramatic tension kind of stuff layered in ended up being feeling really effective. And so that sort of made me think I really wanted to do a big game like in the same style. So yeah, that's been a core thing all the way through.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think I saw a clip of you saying that there's this bit at the end of the demo where you're trying to escape from being underwater, um, and actually, yeah, you can take as long as you want, but everybody is just like, oh God, I don't want to
Yeah,
die.
yeah. Absolutely, yeah. And it's kind of
Yeah,
counterintuitive because the faster you're clicking, you're making the wrong decisions, and then that's causing bad things to happen.
exactly. Yeah. So at some point you have to slow down. But I also seen another clip that you're expecting that the game is going to take 8 or 9 hours of gameplay. Are you somehow intending to keep up that frantic pace for the whole stretch?
Uh, no, so even in the demo, you sort of see there's like a sort of linear kind of frantic-ish or like fast-paced section at the start, which has got a bit of dramatic stuff happening, and then it kind of cools off a bit, and you've got a bit of investigating, like seeing what's happening, only for 15 minutes or so, and then it goes back into that script scene you were describing. So kind of trying to manage the pace of the game, so that you've got kind of peaks of tension and stuff where it's happening really fast, and then periods where you're trying to work out what's going on and doing a bit of investigating and poking around. And that's where kind of you have some more traditional, I guess, puzzles, but generally trying to keep the puzzles to be very practical and real world, and more about investigation and like talking to people, trying to work out what's going on. And so a lot of the puzzles are like, okay, you need to get through this locked door, and you're not going to be like unfolding a paperclip and poking it through the keyhole. You're just going to get a brick and throw it through the window, that kind of
Okay.
thing.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. Okay. Yeah, I'm super curious about that. Okay. I'm a bit of a sci-fi nerd. And I've seen that you're kind of into the John Carpenter vibe, and there's some Lovecraftian stuff for sure in the crawl stuff that you've done. Um, Drifter seems to be a bit more sci-fi than crawl. Um, but and if you talk about Philip K. Dick or Michael Crichton, Blake Crouch, Ted Chiang, they're using sci-fi to tackle deeper stuff as well as just kind of dragging you along on a rip-roaring ride. Is that something you're trying to do as well?
Yeah. So Michael Crichton's definitely one of the bigger influences. It's very much wanting to make a tech thriller thing. So you kind of got the elements of, a sort of thriller kind of thriller novel. There's like murders and stuff afoot, but then you've got like modern tech kind of stuff coming into it, which gives that bit of a sci-fi feel. And I love sci-fi stuff too. But even just like the sort of sciencey kind of element is kind of always interesting to me, and especially sci-fi that's set very close to the current day, kind of thing like that. Even like The Expanse or something like that, which is sort of, you can sort of see where we'd go to get to that level of technology. But the Drifter is very much more like stuff like Jurassic Park, I guess, or Andromeda Strain, where like you can imagine, they did something where they can now clone dinosaurs, and that's really cool.
Right.
So it makes a good basis for a sort of story, a horror story or a thriller. But still grounded in like modern science a little bit.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
something that's definitely in terms of the thematic stuff you're talking about. I think that theming and like those deeper themes are always kind of important in terms of grounding the story and grounding the characters and making them feel real. And when you've got a really good thriller, it tends to have those elements that, but I don't think you set out to build a thriller story based on just the themes, the important themes themselves. I think it's something that comes out of the story and of the characters as you're writing it. And this is going a bit from Stephen King's book on writing. He talks about themes and how they come out. And I kind of modeled the way I developed the story for The Drifter on that a bit, where you kind of build the story and the narrative and build your first draft. So I did a sort of first playable draft of The Drifter. And then you kind of, through that building the story that way, you kind of see these themes emerge. You get an idea of the characters and really who they are, not just like your initial idea of
see
what
them
they might be.
yourself, right? That's what you say. You as the writer see them.
Yeah, exactly. You
As
get to know them.
yeah,
Yeah, but it
yeah.
takes time. Like, so it's not something where you're like, okay, this character hates, I don't know, this character's got a lot of regret, and that's his whole deal is he's really got all this regret. But that might be something that comes up naturally as you're developing the character, and then you can go back and then layer on elements of the plot and enhance scenes and like keep those themes, like bring those themes to the surface where they're appearing, and that's how you kind of get a nice cohesive layer of theme throughout a story, while still keeping it all about the action and the fun stuff that you really, that's what you make it.
Right. Yeah, and then you slip in a bit of the other stuff along the side, kind of thing.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Sounds great. I'm super curious to kind of experience the whole thing. Tell us, Dave, when's it coming out?
Should be first half next year. I've got a big kind of chart, and all the graphs are always getting to the top. But yeah, no, I'm definitely hope first half next year. So it's getting there. It feels really close. It feels like it's the end's in sight and the downhill slope at the end now.
Okay. There's a hill in the UK that I walked up with my parents, and you always thought you were at the top, and then you get over the top, and then there'd just be another hill, and it just keeps on going forever.
Yeah,
You probably don't want to
well,
hear
it
about
definitely
that,
felt
sorry.
like that. Yeah, so it's like 5 years in development, and it's definitely felt like that. Like it was a solo project for me the first couple of years, just developing that first draft and getting the story stuff all nailed down. But then getting the full production and all the art and stuff going in the last few years has felt like it's like, oh, this is taking so long. I've had the kind of story worked out for so long, but now it's like, okay, we're really kind of putting the final scenes in the game, so it's kind of got art in the whole thing now, and a bit of voice acting stuff to do, and but it's very, very feeling very close. But I know very close still means it'll be like the first half next year, not like
Right.
next month.
Okay. But you've got vistas, you've got stuff, you can see the end somehow.
Yes, I've got lots of graphs with like trailing upwards, getting there.
Right. Yeah. Over such a long project, how do you keep yourself from losing the plot?
Yeah. Well, I think I probably would have if this was the only thing I was doing. So I think I love doing game jams and because I really like getting games out there and people playing the games I'm making and stuff I'm making. So I've had to wait 5 years, 6 years for for that to happen once, I'd go crazy. But yeah, doing game jams and little games, I really love that. It kind of refreshes me, gets me excited about making stuff. And yeah, you can making something in a few days or a few weeks compared to 5 years is very satisfying and a good reminder that it's possible as well. But yeah, the big games are fun too. But yeah, it becomes a grind. So the little things are good, and also doing tool stuff like PowerQuest is kind of this thing I've been developing alongside the Drifter, which is tool for making point and clicks, and having a community kind of making games with that is like super satisfying as well. So those sort of things get me through it. But then my full-time sort of day job kind of is the Drifter. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, amazing. Cool. Well, I think we're out of time. Thanks very much for
No
sharing
worries.
and letting us know. And from everyone at AdventureX, we wish you all the best with it. Um, yeah.
Awesome.